Okay. All right. All right, guys. Good afternoon. Oh, still morning. Sorry. All right. So welcome to your study pad. Welcome to biology class. And now today, I told you I was going to help you guys with some of the good topics that you're going to be seeing more often in your exam. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking a lot of past questions to help you and then to give you more insights into what we're going to learn today. Are we together now? So now what's going to happen is I'm going to be picking a lot of questions. For example, now look at this topic. Like when I talk about reproduction in flowering plants, okay, in flowering plants, what are the things you're supposed to know here? Remember the the ring-like structure, the ring structure in the flowering plant. The flowering plant is called what? It's called odd. Okay, it's called odd. Okay, the ring structure in flying plant is called what? Odd. All right. Now, if that's the case, if the ring structure in flying plant is called odd, okay, that's correct. Then, what are the structures found inside this odd? Is what you must know. So we have the sepal, the petals. Then you now have the androecium, sorry, and the what? The genoecium. So, and the what? The ecium. So, in that case, look at it. If that's the case now, you see, I want you to know something. This is called non-essential part, non-essential part, and this one are the essential what? Essential part. So, what are the questions they asked from this thing I've said? These are the questions. They say the essential part of a flying plant is known as what? The essential part of a flying plant is your adenoecium and what? Androecium. Okay? So why did I call them the essential part? Because this is the female part and this is the what now? The male part. This is the female part and this is the what now? The male part. Female part, male part. Are we together now? So this is the female part and this is the what? The male part. So when they ask you what is the female part of the flying plant, your answer is genoecium. What is the male part of the flying plant? The answer is what? Androecium. Now, what is the outer part? Outer part is called sepal. What is the inner part? Is called what now? Petal. Are we together now? Now, before this sepal, it is always called calyx. Sepal is called calyx. Okay? Petal is called corolla. Okay? Petal is called corolla. Are we together now? Are we together? Then sepal is calyx, petal is called corolla. Then which other thing we must try to understand here is that if that's the case, the calyx and the what now corolla, when you say the name, you can also say they are the what? Non-what? Essential what? Essential part. Then why the what? The stamen, which is also still refers to as the what? What now? Androecium. Okay? Stamen, not stamen. Stamen. Stamen is known as the what? The male part. Why? This guy is also called the pistil. The pistil, which is called what now? What? Genoecium. Okay? Did you know what? The genoecium. Are we together? Did you know what? The genoecium. So now, what do they want you to know? I've said it. Male reproductive part is the stamen. Female reproductive part, you can also say that what? The pistil. So what is found in the androecium? You have the filament, okay? And after the filament, you must know you have the anther. Okay, what is found inside the anther? Never forget. Inside the anther, we have what they call what now? Inside the anther, we have what they call what now? The pollen tube. Why do they call it the pollen tube? Because pollen grains are going to be what? Filled inside the what? The tube. Do you understand? The pollen grains are going to be filled inside the what? The tube. Are we together now? So again, but if you come to the genoecium, which is the female, that's when you have to know the style, you have to know the stigma, you have to know the what now, the ovary. Okay? So how many parts does your male consist of? Anther, filament. How many parts does your female consist of? Style, stigma, and what? Ovary. You know, that's the reason why they define and say that pollination is the transfer of what? The pollen grain from the what? From the anther to the what? To the stigma of the what? Of the plant. So look at it. Anther to the what? To the stigma. So who connects the what now? The stigma to the ovary? The answer is the what? Is the style. So now look at it. From this whole story I've said, now they can now ask you some little questions. Watch this. Look at the question they ask you. Look at it. Reproduction and flying plant. Look at the crazy question they ask. At that point, wait, let me show you. Look at what they asked. See, they said, look at it. They said, for pollination and food formation, the essential part of the flying plant is what? Option A, corolla, B, ovary, C, pistil, D, oval. What will be your answer? Essential part is what now? Is what? Is pistil. You know, I told you the pistil can also be known as a geno what? Genoacia. You get so that's it. Look at the way then I ask another one now. Then they say now all these ones I've not said it, but I'll say it now. They're talking about the terminologies you must what? You must know. So you see that terminologies aspect, you got to be smart about that. Now, if you've gotten this whole story, this is where they now ask the question here. Don't forget. Let me just tell you. Don't forget. I told you that the outer part is called what? Sepal. I never told you what this guy is all about. Petals. You know, pollination that we talk about, who does the job? Remember I tell you, insect goes on what now? On flowers to do it, to try to do pollination. But the reality is that the insect doesn't even know he's doing pollination. Because all the job of the insect is just to suck what now? Nectar. That's his job. His job is to just try to suck some what? Some nectar. Are we together now? The job is just to suck some what? Some nectar. And so if he's able to suck some nectar, he will be able to do some pollination. You get my point? So now what's the job of the pector? The pector is the conspicuous part of a flying what? Of a flying plant. When I mean conspicuous, I mean it's the most beautiful part of it. And since it's the most beautiful part of it, it looks so sweet. And that's what attracts the what? The insect. And so they go on it and then they start doing their what? Sucking the nectar. At that point, they are doing what they call pollination. That's the job. Are we together now? So now, finally, now you can get the old gimmick. Well, when you're now being asked that, okay, since you now told us that this is the conspicuous part of the flying plant, there is a term they used to use. They said when the sepal resembles the petal, what is it called? When the sepal resembles the petal, what is it called? Don't stress yourself. When I tell you the sepal resembles the petal, what's it called? Just tell them it's called a petaloid. Okay? Tell them it is called a petaloid. Are we together now? It is called a what? A petaloid. So why? Because that means the green color, we are not seeing some patches of red in it. Do you get some patches of purple color in it that can actually attract our what? Insects to come and do pollination. But sepal is ordinary job. Its color is what? Literally green. And the job it does is to help us do photosynthesis. Are we together? So that's his job. So help us to do what they call photosynthesis. So when you answer the question and say a sepal resembles the what now? The petal, what is that called? The answer will be called petaloid. Okay. Are we good? The answer will be called what? Petaloid. So good. Now, so if that's the case, the next thing you must try to understand here is this. So there are some statements that you must try to understand, and they are called terminologies. So I'm going to be saying some terminologies. I will say it with my mouth, and then just for you to get terminologies. Terminologies. Now, what are those terminologies? I'm going to tell you now. The terminologies means, listen, what are the terminologies? Number one, the terminologies I expect you to know. We have what they call complete flower, incomplete what now? Flower. There's something we call, again, I said what? Let me write them. Number one, complete flower. Number two, incomplete flower. Okay. Number three, these are the ones that you must take note. They ask a lot, dichogamy. Okay. Number four, that's where they not tell you the protandry. Protagony. Okay. Some say protagonist. Okay. Now, you must try to understand. Either you see complete flower, incomplete flower. You see perfect. Perfect flower, I've always said it to people that why are you adding too many stress to your head? Perfect and imperfect is the same thing as complete and incomplete flower. How? Let me tell you. Because a complete flower is a flower that has the four floral part. Okay? That means if it has the four floral part, we call it a complete what now? Flower. But the incomplete flower is a flower that doesn't have the four floral part. Are we together now? Did you get what I'm trying to say? So now, when people not say perfect and imperfect, perfect is just saying, oh, you have both the male and the what now, the female part. While imperfect is saying, oh, you only have one part of it. Either you have a male or you have the what now, the female. Okay. Now, one of the greatest things people don't get to understand is when they talk about the maturation. How does it take to what? The maturation of a flower. We call it dichogamy now. Dichogamy. That means we're saying a flower tends to mature at what time? Just like the way we talk about gestation period. You get? Just like the way we talk about gestation period. This is called maturation of what? Of flower. Again, as a complete flower means you get the four floral part. As a incomplete, it means one is missing. As a dichogamy means what now? Maturation of what? Of the flower part. And then we got protandry, male getting matured before the what? The female. Protagonist, female getting matured before the what? The male. And then perfect and imperfect. I said the perfect is going to be what? It's going to be flowers that are what that has both male and female. And then the imperfect is going to be flowers that have what now? Only male or only what now? A female. We give a point. Then there's this one I've also seen them asking, but they didn't put a name. It's just regular and what now? Irregular flower, okay? Regular and irregular flower. But because they don't like using this name, and I brought out the name, they call it zygomorphic. Zygomorphic, okay? And then they call this one an antinomorphic. Don't mind them. Don't mind the nonsense name they're trying to confuse you with. Zygo, I'm going to write a bold, okay? Zygomorphic. Zygo, hold on. Now, it's not so a huge word. We have what they call bilateral symmetrical and we have what they call asymmetrical. So regular, I'm gonna go again. We have zygomorphic, and then we have actinomorphic. Okay, so when the flower is bilateral symmetrical, we say it's a regular what now? Flower. When it is what now? It is what? It is radially symmetrical. We say it is inward now, irregular. Okay, so the irregular is called actinomorphic. The regular is called zygomorphic. Do we get? So let me now show you what I was saying in that question again. Look at what I was saying in that question again. They were not saying that, okay, and I say if the anther of a flower, you can say it. So they were not asking of, let me show you what they were asking of. They said if the anther of a flower matures before the stigma, that condition is terminal. Remember, I told you, male matures before the female is called protandry. Female mature before the male is called what? Protagonist. Okay, so and look at it. If you don't see it like this, look at another way you can say it. Let me spell it again. Protogamy. Okay, protogamy, and then you can also see it as protandry, just like this one. But you can say protagonist or protogony. Okay, so please don't get it twisted. So when they tell you that if the anther of a flower matures before the stigma, the condition is called what? The answer is going to be what? Protandry. Are we together now? Are we good? Okay, good. So I need you to understand that part accurately. Let me see, look for other things they still ask about it. A flying plant, you know, just like I've said, we have monoecious, we have dioecious. Monoecious and dioecious have always been, look at it, can be equivalent to perfect and what? Imperfect. Actually, perfect means you have both male and what? Female, right? While imperfect means you can only have one of it, either the male or the female. Now, monoecious flower, you have to get the idea that means monoecious flower is a flower that is what? Unisexual. Or if you don't want to know it, you can say monoecious flower are flowers. Look at it. Let me quickly just let me put that there. Let's make that 10, right? Monoecious and what? And dioecious, okay? Dioecious. Okay? So look at it. So a monoecious flower, from the word mono, it means what? One, right? That means it's saying what? Both the what? Male and the female are on the same plant, same plant. So that means the androecium and the gynoecium are found on the same what now? Plant. Are we together now? That means the monoecium, the androecium and the gynoecium are found on the same what now? Plant. Are we good? So if that's the case, what's the meaning of dioecious? It now means both the male and the female parts are found in different what? Plants. You're correct. I love the way you reason that. I love the way you reason that. That's very good. That's good. I love that. So now I want you to get something. Immediately you're done with pollination, I talk about after these two terminologies. I think how many terminologies on the board there? So we got 11, right? So if you look at it, complete, incomplete, dichogamy, protandry, protagonist, prefer, imprefer, regular, irregular, monoecious, and dioecious, and that's how many? That's 11. I told you regular can also be called what? Zygomorphic, and irregular can also be called what now? Actinomorphic. Good people. So that means regular Zygomorphic, irregular is what? Actinomorphic. Which one is radially symmetrical? Actinomorphic. Which one is bilaterally symmetrical? Zygomorphic. Hope you understand what I mean bilateral symmetrical. Bilateral symmetrical, I'm trying to say that what? You have to cut them at a specific part of the flower plant. Why? Radially symmetrical means you can cut them at any part of the flowering plant. They must always give you two equal what now? We get good. So after you get the whole knowledge of this, I'm trying to show you how, just like I'm showing the question, and then I'll move down to fertilization. Any questions so far? Any? Okay, no question. Now, let's move on. This is the part a lot of biology students hate when it comes to plant part. They begin to squeeze their face, but you know, Jamb know you don't like it. So that's why they're going to put this for you to face. So let's move. Now, still on our topic. So we now move to what they call fertilization. Fertilization. Now they call it fertilization. What is that fertilization aspect? I'll tell you. You see that part they call fertilization. We both know. You know what's fertilization? Male gamete fused with what? The female what? Female gamete, right? To form a zy what? A zygote. Now say something. What I want you to know is this. What I want you to know is this that a male gamete in flowers is just like you're saying we have subnuclei and what? Generative what? Nuclei. I want you to know something. Look at it. Male gametes. Generative and two. Now, females have like primary and what? And secondary. Okay. Now, you see this generative nuclei. I want you to know something. This generative is for their primary. So now, the end of all fertilization process, I need you to know one thing. The end of the fertilization process, listen, it produces what they call what now? Seed and fruit. So the primary nuclei for them mixed with the generative what now? Nuclei. Why the secondary relates to the what? Two. You see, that's why they said that. I just want you to know something. Don't stress yourself. The end product of fertilization of flower is seed and what now? And fruit. And one thing they end up with is what they call endo what now? Endosperm. So the primary what now? Nuclei will give us what now? Seed and what now? And fruit. While the secondary will give us what they call what now? Endo what? Endosperm. That's a short way to explain it. I don't have to say too many story. And how many nuclei is involved at the end of the day? I'll tell you to use this idea. We have a seed, we have a fruit, we have an endosperm. Answer is what now? Three. Okay. Why three is because the end of the day, flower is undergoing what they call double fertilization. So when they're asking which aspect of a living organism undergo double fertilization, the answer is what now? Flowers. Now look at it. So they tell you that a matured ovary is called what? It's called fruit. A matured ovary is called what? Fruit. Why a matured oval is called what now? Seed. A matured ovary is called fruit. Why a matured ovary Ovary, sorry, is called fruit. A matured ovule is called what now? Seed. So in that aspect, I need you to be smart here. They said a matured ovary is called fruit. A matured ovule is called what? Seeds. So what are you now saying? What is not the endosperm? The endosperm is like the food they eat. Every food you see them eating is stored inside what? An endosperm. Just like you. Back in those days, when you were still inside your mother's womb, what was happening to you? You were feeding, right? Okay, all those things called flower, placenta. What was it coming from? Are we together now? What was the placenta coming from? Do we understand? Are we together now? Good. Now, now that you've gotten this, a matured ovule is called a fruit, a matured ovule is called a what? Seed. Now look at what they were asking here. Look at what they asked. They said, uh, look at where's that question. They said, how many nuclei are found in the pollen tube during fertilization? The answer is what? It's three. I just told you. The answer is what? It's three. Then, then when you are not asked that, a matured, sorry, when you're not asked that, a matured what now? A matured ovary is called what now? A fruit. Now the reality is this: what now happened for fruits that didn't develop from what now? Ovary. What do we call them? If a fruit didn't develop from what now? Ovary. And then you say, no, that's not possible. The word there is a matured fertilized what now? Ovary. So that means your ovary can be fertilized and can be onward now fertilized. Ovary can be fertilized and can be onward fertilized. Ovary can be fertilized and can be onward fertilized. Are we together now? So in that case, if ovary can be fertilized and can be onward now fertilized, then what is a matured fertilized ovary will not be called a what? A fruit. But a fruit that is unfertilized, that is what? Unfertilized, is called parthenocarpy. Look at it. Partheno what? Carpy. Partheno what? Parthenocarpy. Are we together now? So, immediately you've gotten this, you've killed them. Immediately you've gotten this whole story about this. You finish them. You've done the job then. You've made them understand that, well, I'm done here and now I'm ready to go to understand the remaining part of it. You know, if you go back to something I wanted to say there, immediately I said that parthenocarpy, I wanted to quickly remind you of something. I'll quickly remind you of that and then I'll go back. I want to quickly remind you of something. Remember when I said parthenocarpy? I don't know, like I've told you guys before. Remember I said something when I was teaching you adaptation. I said there's something called social insect, right? Social insect. And there's a word called parthenogenesis. Who knows these guys? Yeah. Parthenogenesis. Who are the people among the social insects that carry out this process? Remember the revision class trying to make you understand some certain things. Who are the people? In fact, what is a social what insect? Give me example of social insect. I know the first thing you tell me is you drop it in the comment section. You say you have you have what the bees, you have what the termite. That's what you would say. But apart from bees and what and termite, who are the other what social what insect? Now let me help you so that if you know, that's good. Put ants, put wasps, they are wasps. Then after these two, try as much as possible not to put housefly. Okay? Try much as possible not to put cockroach. These guys are not social what now? Insect. I will give they are not social what now? Insects. And they will never be social what now? Insect. So if you are asked that this parthenogenesis I said, please is for one of the members in the bees. They call them caste. C-A-S-T-E. Caste. Okay? They are called caste. C-A-S-T-E. That's what we call them. Caste. Caste members. Who are these caste what the members? And the cast members of the bees only have, let me just quickly say all these things to refresh. Bees only have 3 cast members. They have queen, they have drones, and they have workers. Okay? Worker comes, oh sorry, the drone carrier parts in the world. Parthenogenesis. So they comes from the unfertilized egg of the world of the queen. When they ask you that which insect carrier nuptial flight or wedding what now flight, all your social insects must carry out that. And I must correct you of this again. Nuptial flight, wedding flight are for social what now insect. Are for what social what insect. Nuptial flight, wedding flight are for social what insect. What do I mean by that? I mean nuptial flight, meaning that they go into the air to what? To mate. And a successful mating will lead to them falling down to the ground to form a new what now? Colony. Try to understand what is the main aim of nuptial flight. It's not to mate. The main aim of nuptial flight is to create a new what now? Colony. That's all. That's all. Is to create a new what now? Colony. Bees, termites, ant wasps are good example of the nuptial flight. That question is there. They say, what's the aim? What's the end reason for nuptial flight? The end reason for nuptial flight is to create a new what? Colony. So what's the job of a queen in a beehive? For the bees in the beehive, what's the job of the queen? The job of the queen is to what now? Is to lay eggs and of taking care of the hive, that the one that take care of the hive, that the one that also ensures that the hive is protected, everybody member in the hive is fed. One thing I want you to ask is what's not the job of the drones? The drones have no job. They don't have any work. Their job is just one thing they do in their life. is that they eat, they mate, and they die. A drone only mates once in their what? In their lifetime. Yeah, that's the job. All these guys, queen and workers, all of them are females. The only male there is the what? Is the drone. And the drone job is to mate with the queen and die after a successful what now? Mating. That's the job of the drone. Why? Because the queen will take off his private organ after a successful what now? Mating. Why? Because the queen has what they call spermatheca, where she stores the sperm she derived from one drone. So when they give birth to drones, when the drones hatch, the job of the drone is just to keep eating, waiting for the day it will get to their turn to go and mate with the what? With the queen. And after they are done mating with the queen, they die. Because the queen will actually take off their private what? Organ. What a good life, right? That's how the life of the what? Of the queens drone, I mean the bees are. And one thing you must know is that the queen is always fed on two types of food: royal jelly and what now? Bee bread. Royal jelly and what? Bee bread. The queen is always fed on royal jelly and bee bread. Bee bread. What do you mean by that? Royal jelly, why did I do that? The royal jelly occurs when they're about to have a new what? A new queen. It's one of the lifestyle the bees always live is that see how they live their life. When the hive is congested or they need a new what now? A new queen, or the queen is sick and is about to die, they will feed the old queen on royal jelly so that they can lay eggs. Those eggs laying are royalty characteristics. So what will happen? If they're royalty characteristics, look at what will happen. What is going to happen is that the the egg hatch, if 5 of them should hatch at the same time, or 10 should hatch, the first one that hatch first will be the next queen. You understand? And then what will happen to the remaining ones? They will kill them. Why? Because they don't want any what now competition for who to be what the queen. Because the first one that emerge is the what is the queen. Life is very what simple. But if they feed the queen on bee bread, the queen will always produce what now? Workers. So somebody will now ask, how does not this drone come out from the part that were never what now? The lies. Remember, the queen will always lay a lot of eggs and then take sperm from the spermatheca to fertilize the what? The eggs. The ones that the spermatheca could not be able to what? To fertilize will not give birth to what now? To drones. Ash to drones. And after that, those drones is to sleep with the what? With the queen when they get matured and they die. Are we together now? So royal jelly is for royalty. While bee bread is for producing what now? Worker. Your bee bread is a what now? It's like combination of what now? It's just pollen grains and nectar. It's a combination of pollen grains and what? And nectar. That's your bee bread. A combination of pollen grains and what? And nectar. So where did I switch from there to? I was talking about partenocarpy to what now? To parthenogenesis. And I was able to quickly run through this for you. If you take time to listen to what I'm saying, you're getting what they're asking here again. And one other thing is this: in your Jamb, they're expected to know bee and what and termites. So the termites, I will just say the termites, they are caste members. The caste or members is reproductive. Okay. What are the reproductive? You have the king, you have the queen, and then you have the wing reproductive. Okay. Reproductive. King, queen, and wing what? Reproductive. That's what you have. You have the king, you have the queen, you have the wing word reproductive. How is that possible? I'll tell you how. Because these guys are all what now fertile. And they are all pigmented. Okay? But the worker, The workers are blind. Workers are blind and they see with their what? Antennas. Okay? They see with their what? Antennas. And one thing again is that the worker lack what now? Pigment. They lack pigmentation. They lack what they call pigment what? Pigmentation. They lack what they call pigment what? Pigmentation. Are we good? The worker lack what they call pigment what? Pigmentation. They lack what they call pigment what? Pigmentation. So if you are that in your past question is there, they're asking which of the group of what the termitarium. When you hear termitarium, termitarium is the house where they what? Where they live. The house of your what? Your what? The house of the termite is called termitarium. CERMA. CERMA. Termitarium. Termitarium. That is the house of the what? The termite. Are we together now? So they asked a lot of that. And when they tell you which one is lacking pigmentation, answer is what? Worker. Which one is blind? The answer is what? Worker. So they have soldiers. They have soldiers. Remember, the bee does not have. So what are the soldiers? They have two types. They have nasut. They have mandibulate. Let me help you. When they say mandibulate, when they say nasut, nasut means the guy has big mouth. Okay, the guy has big mouth. All right. Then mandibulate means mandibulate means they have big mouth, and that big mouth is for biting. Do you get? But the nasut means they have a stinging what now? Mouth. They used to sting their what? The predators. So soldiers have two types of soldiers in the termite. We have the nasut, we have the what now? Mandibulates. Hope we understand. Good. Now, so you've been able to know that. And one last thing I forgot to say here is I just quickly watch and finish this. Waggle dance. Please, when you're asked about waggle dance is carried out by your bees. When the word waggle came from them turning their tails left and right. So they swing their tails left and right for the purpose of what? For the purpose of making sure that these what now? Let me give you one word. The main reason for waggle dance is for communication. 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 That's the main reason for waggle dance. Why do I have to do waggle dance? The answer is for communication. Okay, that's the reason why we do waggle dance, for communication. So when the first person says food, it begins to wag his abdomen to tell the others that this is where the position of what the food is, and it's carried by the bees. There's another book that takes us to understand that the termite carry out what they call what? The termite carry out what they call round dance, or we call it round movement. But at the end of the day, the whole thing is for communication. Okay. I hope I've been able to help you out there. So let me ask some certain questions here. So I have some lot of questions here. I think they're up to 90, but I'll just ask them in random. Red blood cell are formed from what? Option A, kidney. Option B, skeletal muscle. Option C, the heart. Option D, the bone marrow. Answer will be what? bone marrow. So I'm gonna just say some questions and then you leave your answers there. An inherited disease in which the blood does not clot. I believe everybody's already thinking of the answer. An inherited disease in which the blood does not clot is called option A, heparin, option B, hemophilia, option C, thrombosis, option D, anemia. Answer, put it down there. Look at this one. They say urea is removed from the body. Urea is removed from the blood, from the blood by the option A, lungs, B, kidney, C, urinary bladder, D, the liver. A, lungs, B, kidney, C, urinary bladder, D, liver. Urea is removed from the blood by the dash. A, lungs, B, kidney, C, urinary bladder, and then D is your what now? Liver. Okay. Now look at this one. They say Mafigian tubules are used for excretion in that. A, earthworm, B, insects, C, hydra, and then D, fish. I think I want to say something here. I need to correct something here. You see, I'll say an answer to this because I wanted to correct something. Back in our young days, they used to tell our young students that insects use what they call spiracle. Okay, spiracle for gaseous what now exchange. Okay, they say they use spiracle for gaseous exchange. Even though I might not say the answer there. Spiracle is not used for gaseous what exchange. Spiracle is basically for, let me tell you, spiracle is basically for what now? Airspace. It allows air to go into the water through the abdomen and straight down to the trachea system. Okay? And that trachea system is what they use to carry out their what? Gaseous what? Exchange. So people used to mistake that thing a lot. Because when those young kids were in GS3, or maybe when they were in the junior classes like class 7, class 8, they used to tell them then that, oh, the insect carry gaseous exchange through spiracle. The answer is trachea system. Okay? But yeah, they were asking about the excretion. So you tell your answer there. The semaphilic tubules are used for excretion in dash. A, earthworm, B, insect, C, hydra, D, what? Now, fish. They said according to Lamarck, evolution occur as a result of what? Natural selection. Natural selection was talked about by Charles Darwin, and it was helped by what now? Waec. Alfred Waec helped him out. Okay, the theory of recapitulation was not done by them. Overproduction is Charles Darwin. Okay, blending inheritance, it was neo-Darwinism that brought about that. And then inheritance of acquired characteristics was brought about, oh, I'm telling you the answer, sorry. I wasn't supposed to tell you that. Okay, good. So you know your answer from there. The answer is option what now? E. Inheritance of acquired what now? Trait. Do you get? So if I go down to that same evolution, let me quickly remind you of something there so that you won't get confused since I've said that. So let me just remind you of something there again. Remember that the main theory that they expect you to put in your cerebrum is Lamarckism and Darwinism. Lamarck will say that he postulated 3 theories. I've said that here countless of time. Theory of use, theory of disuse, theory of use and disuse, theory of needs, and theory of acquired traits. While Darwinism theory can be based on 4 or 5 things. Number 1, overproduction or overpopulation. Number 2, it's after overpopulation, there's going to be competition. After competition, there's going to be variation. After variation, there's going to be what we call speciation. Okay? That's it. There's going to be what we call speciation. Are we together now? Good. Okay, so. Okay, now, before I leave, I'd like to finish that. All those questions I gave, you could just drop your answer there. Now, you know that so that I can I can finish it up. Look at this thing called fruit. Fruit. Anytime you were asked how many types of fruits do we have, I beg of you, don't start saying simple fruit, aggregate fruit, um, multiple fruit, composite fruit. No, the first thing you should tell them is this: I only have true fruits and false word now, false fruits. Immediately you start shouting, I have simple fruits, I have composite fruits, I have aggregate what now? Fruits. Immediately you start that, you've confused yourself because an aggregate fruit can either be what now? True or what? Or false. Mhm. A berry, which is a simple fruit, can either be what? True or what now? Or false. So in any time, in any way they ask you, how many type of fruits do you have? The answer is what? True and what? And false fruit. Do we get it? The true fruit is now what tells us about some certain things. They break them down and say, okay, we will not classify all fruits under what now? True fruit. And later on, they started segregating some the what now? The false fruit. I don't want you to get confused in this aspect. I'll do that in the next class. Break it down for you. But please get it in your mind that when you are asked about true fruits, when you're asked about types of fruits, don't classify it. Don't say we have simple blah blah blah. Don't say that. Tell them you have true fruit and false fruit. What is a true fruit? Go back to that terminology I told you that said it developed from what now? From the ovary. Okay? A true fruit is saying that this is a type of fruit that it developed from the what now? From the ovary. Okay? So that means every part of that fruit is developing from the what? Ovary. Why a false fruit is saying I'm not developing from inside the ovary. I'm developing from every part, other parts except from the what? Ovary. That's what a false fruit is. Are we together now? A true fruit is saying I'm coming from the ovary, but a false fruit is saying I'm coming from parts of the what now? Ovary. Are we there now? Now look at something. Look at let me add like 3 more questions to it for you, so that you can put your answers there. They said the most abundant substance in the protoplasm. What's the most abundant substance in the protoplasm? I'll say option A, protein, B, fat, C, carbohydrates, D, what now? Water. They say the most abundant plant in the what? Substance, sorry. Most abundant substance in the protoplasm is dash. A, protein, B, fat, C, carbohydrates, D, what? Water. I say I'm going to give you 3 more to drop your answer there. This one is simple. Oh no, 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 no. Let me drop it down. I don't want to ask. Okay, let me ask this one. What are the 2 wastes coming from the oxidation of food? They call it waste coming from the oxidation of food. Option A, oxygen and water. B, carbon dioxide and water. C, oxygen and carbon dioxide. D, oxygen and what now? ATP. You're smart, you already know your answer there. Okay, the 2 wastes coming from what now? From food is your what? Oh, you already know your answer from there. And then please don't forget that how many blood group do we have? I told you we have blood group A, blood group B, blood group what now? AB, blood group what? O. And don't forget, that's not it. When I tell you it is controlled by how many what? Alleles? The answer is 3. Or you say multiple what now? Alleles. Why? Because A is dominant, B is what now? Dominant, but O is what? Recessive. Are we together? Are we good? So, are we good now? So, okay, some of you will be looking, okay, give us an answer. So let me tell you, the waste product in that aspect is known as what? The carbon dioxide and what? And water. Okay, that thing is just like the reverse process of, reverse process of your Auto what? Photosynthesis. Are we together now? If you got questions for me, you can just drop your what? Your questions. And then I'll be able to give you a good what? Answer. But if you don't have any question, here I'll quickly help you break this down in your next class. That's a promise. I will do that. I will definitely do that for you. Because whether you like it or not, you're going to see fruits and seed in your past in your exams. You can't run away from it because Jam know you don't like it, so they'll put such things for you. No need of you going to the mountain to go pray that they should not say that in your own part. You're gonna say it. So take time to study. And that's why I took time to give you some past questions today, just to go around and then we touch some other part of it. Make A when the sun shines. Keep reading, keep studying. Have a wonderful time. Bye bye.